Okay, so let me tell you first how this session came about. I had taken my parents to. I don't have permission to actually from them to share this story, but I am still going ahead. Whereas, okay, I can see my mom online. My dad might be hearing, but their sugars were going haywire a little bit. So I went to the doctor, and I was shocked to hear what all they were, what all the, every all three of us thought were normal, which we eat, which are good stuff like dates and stuff like that, which are good stuff, which has the the sugar levels in those kind of items, like coconut, rice, dates. So that's when I said that, oh my God, we need to have a session on, then I learned about this glycemic index that all foods have, and they come under different categories. So I said, we need to learn something more about this so that we know exactly what we are putting in our mouth. Also, when we see a small packet, like even if it's as small as I had kept a Mari biscuit packet over here. My children have taken it already. There's a Mari biscuit packet. The Mari biscuit packet. Okay. So when we read, okay, we can't get any contents. It's already half eaten. But when you read the contents over there, the percentage and also how the contents are in order, I was shocked to hear about that. So to enlighten us further, we have a very close, very, very close friend of a family friend. She always agrees to do these kind of things for y'all, and very happy to share the information, keep everybody healthy. Let me introduce to you Nina Castro.
Thank you, Sheldon. A very good evening to one and all. Am I clear and audible?
Yes.
Yes, Nina, you are clear and audible. We can't see you. Yeah, but I can't find you.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Fine. So, yes, thank you, Sheldon, for the intro. And I think Dr. Amit gave you all really good tips with regards to your lifestyle. Okay, so to add on a little, I'm sure when it comes to sugars, many of you say, oh, we eat very little sugar, we hardly have any sugar, right? But there are lots of these so-called hidden sugars that we need to know about. Okay, so in this few minutes, we're going to be talking about what are these hidden sugars, and also with regards to the term called glycemic index. Have any of you all heard the term glycemic index? Yes? If you all have heard, can you all tell me what you all think is the meaning of glycemic index? Till that time, I'll just share screen.
Okay. Glycemic index is the food that gets has a lot of sugar in it. And I can't explain it to you, but I can understand what it is. Glycemic, certain rice, certain one, the brown rice, the glycemic index will be a little lower. But if it's white rice, it will be higher. That sort of a thing is glycemic. This, according to me, I understand it like that. And all foods have this glycemic index. Like dates have a very high thing. Very high. I understand, but I can't put it forward to you. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that. Yes, so now we're going to talk about what exactly. Okay, so glycemic index basically tells us, can you see the screen that I'm sharing?
Yes, we can.
Yeah? Yes. Okay. Glycemic index basically tells us how much a particular food increases our blood sugar level. Okay, so we have three categories basically. One which is below 55, 55 to 70, and above 70. So you have low glycemic index foods, moderate glycemic index foods, and high glycemic index foods. Okay, now all these foods have values to them. I don't want to complicate it and make it difficult for you all, so we'll keep it very simple. Okay, I've put it into a chart so as to classify these three groups. Okay, so what are the low GI, whereas we call it GI, glycemic index foods? When it comes to fruits, you have apple, pear, orange, sweet lime, cherries, okay, strawberries, peach, plums. All of these are lower glycemic. All right, the moderate ones are whether it's chiku, banana, grapes, custard apple, mango, all of these. So moderate increase, and the high GI Now, when it comes to dates, dry fruits, right? Like Sheldon was also mentioning about, sometimes we think of dates, raisins, excellent in iron. Okay, they're a good source of iron, but they are also very high in sugars. Now, sometimes you may think, why is it that a fresh date is lower glycemic than a dry date, right? Or whether it is grapes and it comes to raisins, what is the difference? Now, what happens is when we say dry fruit, the water content is all removed, right? And they're dried, so the sugar is concentrated. So which means the sugar is much higher than it would otherwise be. And because of which dried fruits, if somebody is monitoring their sugars, they would please have to keep dry fruits like dates, raisins, all of these on hold. Whereas sometimes people eat nuts like almonds, walnuts, and say we're eating dry fruit. Nuts are different, dry fruits are different. Okay, so if you are monitoring your sugars, almonds, walnuts, cashew nuts, pistas, whatever, have no connection to your blood sugars. They will not trouble. They contain the good fats. Whereas when we are looking in terms of dry fruits like dates, raisins, figs, prunes, all of these are excellent, no doubt, but they are rich in sugar. So because of which, if you have them, see that you concentrate on a single, like, 1 to 2, maybe one date, if you're not monitoring a sugar, 1 to 2 or a few raisins. Sometimes we see a small handful and end up having a handful, no? So that's the difference there. Okay. Then with regards to when we usually say fruit, now each fruit has its own benefits, right? So we tell people have fruits as per season. Like ideally, watermelon is excellent during the summers, right? Unfortunately, now you get watermelon through the year. So I try to eat fruits during season. Like now during mango, summer season, mangoes will come in. Okay, if you have a slice of mango, absolutely nothing to worry, but eat it during season, and portion control is very important. Okay, so that's with regards to whether it's the fruits. You have watermelon, which has good amount of water content, excellent for hydration, but it also contains a higher glycemic index. So keep track. And they always say focus more on fruit rather than juice. The reason why is because the fruit is so full with fiber and its whole vitamins and minerals. But once we process it into a juice, the fiber is out. Also, if you're having one orange, it's one orange. If you have a glass of orange juice, you need minimum 3 to 4 oranges to make you one glass of juice, right? So that much of difference in sugar. So focus on a fruit rather than a juice. Okay, so that's with regards to fruits. Now coming to vegetables, onion, cabbage, tomato, lettuce, okay, cauliflower, mushroom, capsicum, broccoli, spinach, methi, French beans, lady fingers, brinjal, sorry, cucumber, all the gourds, okay, whether it's ridge gourd, whether it is ash gourd, whether it is bitter gourd, okay, celery, all of these are very, very low glycemic, which means when you eat any of these, the sugar rise is very slow. Okay, the moderate ones, whether it's beetroot, carrot, sweet corn, green peas, okay, sweet potato, these are moderate glycemic, and potato is high glycemic. Okay, now funnily, sweet potato is much lower glycemic than potato. Okay, though it's sweet potato, it has a glycemic index of 66 and potato has a glycemic index of 80. So that's the difference. So they say somebody monitoring their sugars. Potato and beetroot are the only ones to keep a little care about. The other vegetables are absolutely fine. Now, when it comes to cereals, okay, whether it's oats, whether it's rice, muesli, whether it's whatever, noodles, spaghetti, semolina, rava, all of these are moderate glycemic, which means we add them in moderation, right? So whether you have cornflakes, white rice, white bread, these are high glycemic.
They are telling you what food to eat.
Sorry, what foods to eat? Yes, we are finishing this and coming up, then we'll tell you, okay? And then when it comes to milk products, they are very low glycemic, okay? So milk products have no trouble with your sugars. All your dals, pulses are very low glycemic. Only broad beans. Do you know what is the local term of broad beans? They are moderate glycemic. Have you heard of those aure, they call them? Yeah, fava beans, those are moderate glycemic, okay? But otherwise, what you need to mainly monitor is dried fruits, okay, potato, watermelon, cornflakes, white bread, white rice. Okay, so this was with regards to the glycemic index. So now coming to, yes, one of you said what to eat, no, but we're talking specifically about sugars here. So when we're looking at what are these hidden sugars, okay, now I've explained to you on the glycemic chart. Now when it comes to the ingredients, do all of you watch for your food labels when you're buying products? Yes, we all tend to watch your nutritional labels, okay? Always remember there are hidden sugars and we are seeing them so commonly now in biscuits, in every possible item. right? What are these hidden sugars? If you see invert sugar, okay, if you see high fructose corn syrup, if you see liquid glucose, if you see maltodextrin, okay, dextrose, remember all of these are nothing but hidden sugars in addition to sugar. Okay, so when you see the nutritional label of your products, the first three items usually are the ones that have the highest ingredients, highest percentage, sorry, in the particular item. So if you see sugar in the second item, you know that's loaded with sugar. And always watch right from the Marie biscuits to any possible biscuits available in the market. Just check on the ingredients. I'm sure many a times you will see invert sugar there. Okay, or you will see liquid glucose, or you will see, you know, people think refined wheat flour is maida. Okay, so it's just good to be aware. At the same time, a lot of these sauces that come in also come with lots of these added sugars in them. Okay, we have yogurts, they also come in with lots of sugar. Anything basically that is processed, okay, processed is anything that is taken from its natural state and put into another state. Okay, and when it's processed foods, they need to be kept for a long time, right? They need to have a shelf life. So the reason why they say not too much of canned foods, packet food, is because they need to be kept longer and the extras are added in them. Okay, what are these extras? These extras are sugar. Okay, what else can anyone guess? What are the extras? What is added besides the sugars in these extras? Salt,
preservatives,
butter. Very good. Sugar, salt, and fat. Okay, these are the three extras to be careful about: sugar, salt, and fat. Okay, so always read the nutritional labels of the item you are purchasing. Like I said, is the highest amount to the lowest amount is what is as per the order they are supposed to follow. Okay, try to look out. Sometimes they will include, you know, besides sugar, I've seen invert sugar, liquid glucose, coconut sugar, okay, 3-4 different sugars into that one particular item. Okay, so look out for these. So they say minimize your processed foods. Also, sometimes, you know, we all like to treat ourselves, and you have a small serving is absolutely fine. But sometimes we're not aware that we're eating so many foods that contain sugars. Right? So if you're making something with sauces or something a particular day, okay, then you know maybe you minimize on something else, because anything that comes in a package, okay, or anything that has a shelf life of 12 months and beyond cannot have no preservatives, no additives, correct? Okay, now also I want to bring up this point about bread. Many times people are having these whole grain, multi-grain, whole wheat bread in the supermarket. Okay, now they have bread with flax seeds, bread with all sorts of seeds packed in it. But if you go to see the ingredients of this bread, they all have added sugars, they all have maida, they all have, in addition to wheat flour, okay, and the most important and the worst is the loads of preservatives in them, because this bread doesn't get spoiled for at least 5 to 6 days. Okay, it remains as it is because of the preservatives, whereas our local go and pound that you pick, within 2 days it will spoil also. So it is better, even if it is maida, okay, the local one pav or poi is much better than the ready-made so-called brown bread that we get. Okay, so sometimes, you know, we just look at that one particular ingredient, like we mentioned about ragi flakes. You know, last year was the International Year of Millets, and everything was about millets. But people have also taken the advantage of marketing it in the negative, I mean, in the hidden way rather. So, you know, one of these brands, I think Soulful or something, had these ragi flakes, right? 100% ragi, 0% maida, but it had 29% of sugar, palm oil, okay, in the ingredients. If you find that packet, check it out. All right, so the main focus of the point here is learn to read the labels of what you are consuming so that you know what it contains. Okay, the second thing is being aware, glycemic, we've already told. And most important, when one of you asked is what should we eat, right? Eat a balanced diet like Dr. Amit said, okay, but what are your foods? So can you all tell me some breakfast? We'll quickly review before we stop out this. Can you all tell me some of the foods you all eat? What do you all have for breakfast?
Nina, I have a question.
Yes, tell me.
What about sourdough bread, Nina? What is your take on it?
Yes, if you have somebody making sourdough bread, it's an excellent option as compared to when you're looking at gut health also. Okay, so sourdough bread would be good. I have absolutely nothing against the homemade breads. Okay, there were a lot of options of making whole grain bread and making bread at home. Excellent, please go for it. What bread I'm talking about is the store-bought bread, okay, that lies on the shelves of supermarkets. Because if you make, this is also a good point brought up, because if you make bread at home, okay, you are not going to put any preservatives into it. The similar way is when you're making a pizza, okay, if you have a pizza at home, you're going to make the dough and put your cheese and fillings and whatever and bake it, right? But if you go to a store-bought frozen pizza, they're going to add loads of fats and oils because they need it to remain for those many months. Like sometimes people tell me, can I have the frozen chapatis or the frozen parathas that we get? Okay. But if you make chapatis yourself and freeze them in Ziploc bags and then take them and warm them up, absolutely no problem, even if you can't make them daily and fresh. But if you see the store, the packet chapatis, what is their shelf life? Minimum 1 year. Yes, minimum
Yes.
1 year, which means they have to add fats and sugars into them to let it survive for 1 year, right? Okay, so once in a while, not a problem, not as a daily thing. So if you're focusing on your oats, or whether you're focusing on tisane or chapati with an egg, okay, any of these options for your breakfast. If you have a fruit mid-morning. Now, another point is if you're having rice, curry, fish, vegetable. If you notice in the glycemic chart, I've mentioned that white rice is high glycemic, right? But that doesn't mean that you cannot have white rice at lunch. Now, what happens is the local rice or brown rice or ukde is not a practical option for us on a daily basis, right? It's ideal for me to write it on paper, but it's not ideal for somebody to do it, because I tell people I myself can't have ukde on a daily basis. So how do we balance this? White rice is high glycemic, but if you have a small serving of white rice with some curry and fish and vegetable and salad, the fish, the protein, the vegetable and salad will lower the glycemic load of that meal. Okay. So if you have, whenever you're having white rice, whenever you're having white bread, include a lot of fiber of vegetable salad, include some protein with it, and the load will automatically, glycemic load will reduce or decrease, and your sugar rise will not be there. Okay. Also another thing is in terms of foods, see that you don't keep very long gaps between your meals, because sometimes what happens, that very long gap also causes us to crave and we tend to overeat. Right. And the next thing is, there are people who tell us that we crave sugar. Okay, we crave sugar. There are 3 reasons why you could crave sugar. This happens to everyone, right from kids to adults. Okay, one reason why you're craving for sugar could be that you are dehydrated. Okay, you're not drinking enough water. The second reason why you are craving for sugar could be that you are not sleeping enough at night. You need to have at least 7 hours of sleep. And the third reason why you're craving for sugar is because you may not be having enough of protein in your diet. Okay, so whether it is your pulses, whether it is your fish, chicken, egg, so adequate protein, adequate hydration, and adequate sleep. These are the 3 reasons why people can be, the body's craving for sugar to make up for the deficiencies of those 3. So if you notice with your proper lifestyle, you will definitely feel I'm not craving for sugar as much as I used to. So with that, I want to wish you all a very happy, healthy life ahead. Any questions, do let me.
Eileen?
Our oats, organic oats, as they said in the, they will be preservatives. I have them daily. For years, I've been having oats. So,
Sorry. I think there's some, yeah, can you tell me?
I'm saying I have oats for my breakfast.
Yes.
And, I don't find any added sugar. I don't find them sweet. I don't find it sweet at all.
Okay.
So, what about the? It is processed, isn't it?
Yes.
Is it?
Okay. Good question. Because yes, so oats you have. Are you using the steel cut oats, or are you using the rolled oats?
I can't see you at all, so I can't. I'm talking to the wall. I'm using.
Are you?
I'm using this.
Quaker oats.
Quaker oats.
Yeah, something like Quaker oats. Not exact. This says organic. The lady makes the organic stuff, and sometimes she makes it. It's a huge thing, like a big. It's not like it's not ground or or it's not minced up. And sometimes it's huge. So I don't know now what to choose.
No,
Or should
I think
give
it
up?
should be fine because oats, things like, see, when you have oats, they say noodles, okay, by pasta, like I mentioned, they're not high glycemic by itself. It's the sauces and the other things we'd add. Now, when we make oats, where, oats by itself is absolutely no problem. When we're looking at
Yes.
processed foods, we're looking at canned foods, direct processed foods, which we are consuming. Okay, like a lot of people nowadays get food bars, protein bars, right? Where they look at, a food bar as a replacement. A food bar cannot replace your rice, curry, fish, vegetable, right? They might put in whatever. So when we're looking at process, we're looking at direct consumption. Whereas if you have oats, you're looking at, even if you have regular, muesli, there are some mueslis that come in with loads of sugar. There are some mueslis that come in without added sugar, right? They'll put a lot of nuts and flakes. So oats by itself is excellent. There's absolutely no problem. We don't really call it processed directly. They say steel cut is better, high in fiber. But even if you're using the regular Quaker rolled oats, absolutely no problem. I'm talking of canned and processed, those kind of, whether you're looking at cold cuts, whether you're looking at direct, container foods, juices, packaged sauces, all those things is what we are focusing on when we say hidden sugars.
Nina, I would
Yes.
like to know whether a single grain wheat or multi-grain, which is better?
Okay, good question again. Now, when it comes to, if you have no issues with gluten, that is when you have any rotis or chapatis or anything with wheat and you do not feel bloated, you don't feel uncomfortable, you don't have to stop wheat. Okay, wheat has been consumed for generations together. And if you have rotis and you're comfortable with it, go for it. Now, I don't know if many of you have heard I have a lot of clients coming and consuming Khapli wheat, okay, called Emmer. So Khapli wheat, Khapli, Khapli wheat, it's the traditional wheat, also called Emmer, EMMER, okay? Now, this is supposed to be very low in gluten, supposed to be easier, more fiber, easily digestible, okay? So I'm not really saying you have to shift, but this is just the option that you have. So that is one way. But if you're comfortable with wheat, please go for it. If you're comfortable with multigrain, people adding millets, adding things to their flour, if you have the option of doing that also, excellent. The main thing with carbohydrate is see that you are having it breakfast, lunch, and if you're having for dinner, portion control is what is important. If you're having 1 or 2 chapatis, nothing to worry. Okay, so quantity and fiber. So multigrain is also perfectly fine. If you're okay with wheat, you can add in some flaxseed into it and things like that and incorporate and get it more fiber rich.
And one more thing is honey. Honey. Is
Honey.
Honey okay to consume?
Okay.
Honey?
Now, when you're looking in terms of sugars, okay, whether you are using, for somebody who is diabetic, now somebody who is not diabetic, if you use honey and jaggery as a replacement, it's an excellent option. But for somebody who is diabetic, whether you're consuming sugar, honey, jaggery, it's literally the same. I was talking to a diabetologist and he said whether, any of these sugars go into the body, it is understood as the same. Okay, so you can't think that I'm replacing honey or jaggery and my sugar is going to drop. No, it's going to be the same for somebody who's diabetic. But somebody who's non-diabetic using honey and jaggery as a replacement is an excellent choice.
Thank you.
Nina, what are rolled oats?
Yes.
Same, rolled oats. Yes.
What about rolled oats? What is
Yes,
the
rolled oats is
difference
the regular
between rolled
Quaker oats
oats and
Yes, rolled oats is perfectly fine. Steel cut oats is supposed to be better, but the practical factor comes in cooking time, right? You need to soak it and then cook it if you're using the steel cut oats, else it's very difficult to digest. But otherwise, you have a serving of rolled oats, you can put some nuts into it, it's absolutely fine, not a problem.
Nina,
Now, what about after you have a chocolate? Is that going to harm you?
Okay. 1 piece of chocolate will do you no harm at all. Our only problem is 1 piece goes to 2 and 3 and then goes to a slab.
Sure.
So usually I tell people is the challenge I've also noticed is you break a piece and you're in the kitchen, you will go back to break that second. So break that piece of chocolate, move out from that zone, and then get onto another task, read the newspaper, you want to back. Okay, because it's that 10 minutes that body is craving.
Nina, I'm a pure vegetarian, so I wanted to know what proteins I can have as a vegetarian diet.
Okay. Green moong, black chana, vatana, rajma, whether you have paneer, you have soya, okay, soya beans, soya chunks, Tofu, many don't tend to use, no, but lots of protein options that you can still consume. So green moong, if you sprout them and make it into a vegetable, excellent. Okay, you have black chana, rajma, like I said, paneer you can use like a sauteed or a stir fry, soya bean, soya chunks, lots of options that you can have for adequate protein.
Thank you.
All right, yes.
There's
Any other questions?
Yes,
Eileen,
I read that more of carbohydrates and sweets, anything sweets, even jaggery or whatever, it raises your triglycerides.
Yes. So what is the link here is excess of refined carbohydrates, okay, or excess of carb which is not utilized gets converted into fat. Excess of protein gets converted into fat, right? What is triglyceride? Right? It's part of your lipid profile.
Yes.
Yes. So if you are consuming, now what they say is our metabolism, okay, the rate at which our body is burning calories, our BMR reduces as we grow older. So what we were eating, you've seen kids, they'll keep eating so much and they're on the run, but they will still burn it out, right? Whereas as we grow older, we're not able to keep up to that same run. At the same time, our metabolism drops. So if we consume that excess of sugar that is not utilized, it's going to go and sit into the liver, and which is why so many cases of non-alcoholic fatty liver is seen today, right? So that's why excess of sugar converts to fat, which is why the whole thing about triglycerides. Like they say, don't have a fruit immediately after lunch. Why? Because the fructose in the fruit tends to get converted to triglycerides because your body is breaking down calories of what you've consumed, and then suddenly you're getting the fruit. So they say keep the fruit mid-morning or morning or 2 hours later so that it can be absorbed best with its vitamins and minerals.
Yes. But see, nachni. Does it have a lot of carbohydrates?
Okay, nachni, excellent source of fiber, calcium, all of that, but it is a source of carbohydrate. No, like we say, sources of carbohydrate, you have millets, whether it's nachni, jowar, bajra, rice, wheat, fruits, vegetables, all of these are carbohydrates. No, so it is a source. Sources carbs have one serving, not a problem.
Okay.
Nina, they say that you need to drink a lot of water. Okay, so my target is, okay, I need to drink 2 liters, whatever. Is it okay if I take the glass and just keep drinking, or do I need to take a break in between?
Okay, so keep yourself hydrated through the day. Okay, when they say 2 liters, split it through the day. Because I remember when I used to be working in the hospital earlier, there was a patient admitted for low sodium levels because she was doing that 3 liters of water therapy in the morning. Okay, start the day with 3 liters. So the doctors also advise, please drink 1 or 2 glasses to kind of thin the blood and help, with cleansing, but don't overdo it. Okay, so don't drink 3 liters at one slot where, the sodium levels can get flushed out. They usually say a glass at every hour or so. You don't have to really count it, but see that those 8 to 10 glasses are split through the day. Okay, and just so that your body is hydrated and well. So even if you drink 2 glasses at one time and then keep a little break, you don't have to be so particular, but just see that the water is split through the day.
Thank you, Nina.
Nina, Eileen has a question. She has raised a hand. Eileen,
yes,
please,
Eileen, you can go ahead.
You can unmute yourself and ask your question. You'll have to unmute. Eileen, you'll have to unmute yourself. I don't think she's...
Unmute.
Eileen, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Please, great.
Okay, so I think Sheldon's given you all a very nice Easter eggs recipe he mentioned. Yes. So something that is contradicting our sugars, but don't worry. We can definitely enjoy, okay, but not the whole one. So moderation is the key. Okay, so that way we have a little treat and the sugars and the body is also very happy.
Thank you so much. I think any more questions? Yes. Okay. So thank you so much, Nina, for making time to be with us, sharing your expertise. Very educative, and I think it was a good refresher for us. These days, we hear so much about sugars, controlling sugars, about carbohydrates and how much we should be consuming, drinking water at what time. So it was a very good refresher for all of us. Thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Wish you all the very best.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Yes.